All right, Final X is over, which means the world team is set. Now, I must get out of the way. I'm not confident we're going to do this next year the way we did it this year. And we will only know next year. But I very much am interested in the business side of it. I would like wrestling to do really well. I would like it to have sold out arenas. I would like people to care. I love where the production of wrestling is at. This is like everybody's dream and fantasy when I was a little kid. To make wrestling a show, which they absolutely have. And when I share with you, I don't know if we'll do it this way. I don't know how likely I am to show up to Final X. I don't know. But however likely I am, divide it in half because they split them up. They stuck 5 of them out in Stillwater on a Friday. I don't know a bigger wrestling fan than me. I sit down on Saturday to watch it. I end up getting the results because it was the night before. All right, that's my mistake. But the same thing, Final X is this week in New York City. It's going to be either Friday or Saturday. I'm going to make sure I keep my eye out for it this time. No, it was last night. It was Wednesday. All right. Now, I caught it all. I happened to find out on Tuesday, and I happened to watch the whole thing. And when I just talked about, I don't know if they're going to do it this way again. As a guy who puts on events, I can for sure tell you they doubled their expense. They doubled their production cost. From everything you do, from advertising to venues to the good men and women that sweep filling up at the end of the night to dragging in the cameras to book and play, you doubled it. You did nothing to increase your revenues. Nothing. It was not sold out, but you got 2 live gates. It was not you buy it on Flow and then you have to go and get taxed and buy it again. Whatever you buy on Flow, from the day that you sign up, you get 30 days. I just didn't understand that side of it. And I'm not even complaining. I was treated as something wonderful, as were you guys. I'm just sharing for you that if you enjoyed it, if you enjoy a day of wrestling like me, we might get that again next year, but double the action. We might have double the sessions, which I think might be fun. And we can save that thought for another day. Let's break down some of the action. Look, we're going to have to get this Jordan Burroughs stuff established, guys, as a community. Why do you think Jordan is wrestling? You ever ask yourself that? Oh, he was to be the Olympic champion? Maybe. That could be true. Why else do you think he's wrestling? This isn't Olympic year. Well, he wants to win the world championship. Okay, maybe that could be true. He wants to win the world championship, but let me correct your vernacular. He wants to win the world championship again. He wants to win the Olympic championship again. That might be it. That might be the answer and we're all done here, but it might not. He might be chasing GOAT status, which is not an award that he can get for a tournament or a collection of tournaments. It has to be a body of a career, and then has to be an opinion that's put to you, the community, and then you anoint him. And it's very real to guys on that level. Hard for us to relate to, right? We'd have been happy with the World Championship. We'd have been happy with the Olympic Championship. When you get this level of success, it's about something else. Fine line between genius and insanity. If he is in fact chasing GOAT status, and the community is keeping it from him for nostalgic reasons, we're wrong to do so. And I will share this when you're talking about Jordan Burroughs, okay? You can talk about all the greats. You ask me who the greatest wrestler is, I'm with you. I say it's Jon Smith. That answer can't always be Jon. It just can't. There has to be something that somebody else can do, or what is the point of doing it? Whether you're talking about Smith, whether you're talking about Chael, whether you're talking about Tom Brands, whether you're talking about Brandon Slay, I'm going through the greats right now. They didn't lose, but they were beat. They were all beat. They were beaten by success. Jon Smith was 27 years old. If I'm wrong, he was 28. He's in the room every day. He's in the room all the way until now. Be no reason to not go out there and compete. But when you win the Olympics twice and you look at it and go, level of success can only go backwards. Let's stop. It's a very common thing. Chael was Chael was 26. Took 7 years off and came back just because. But I'm just sharing that he was 26. He wasn't ready to be done. But he had a level of success known as the Olympic Championship. He didn't lose, but it beat him. The success beat him. Guys get scared of success. Guys don't know how to react to success. Other people come in and tell them, hey, you've already achieved it. Get out, you're done. It's a real thing that happens in the sport. Tom Brands, exact same stories I just told you about Jon Smith. Not only is he in wrestling every day, not only in the room, not only at every weigh-in, he's at every event, every tournament, he's just not shaking hands. Of course he wanted to still compete. He didn't know what to do. He'd won the Worlds, he won the Olympics. What do you do? If you go out, you get anything short of a goal that looks like a fit, you get beat. You get beat by that level of success. Brandon Slay, same way. Brandon Slay wins the whole thing and is amongst the biggest upsets ever, biggest of my lifetime. Monumental achievement, but he wasn't ready to be done. Slay still was at the training center. He was still in the room. He was going to come back. He was going to do another 4, but it's one of those things, you start to weigh it, and no, he didn't lose, but he got beat. It's very relevant. It's extremely relevant that you understand the psychology. Other guys will chase a dream. Hard, studs, guys we look up to. They'll fail and they'll stop. I don't begrudge them at all. They didn't lose, but they got beat. It's one of those things. If a man can't beat you, all of our greats have either lost to failure or success. For sure. Either your opponent, failure or success, has stopped everybody's career that's in the conversation for GOAT status except one guy. Jordan Burroughs did not lose to success. It did not intimidate him. Jordan Burroughs did not give up to defeat. He's the only guy who did not lose to the guy across from him, to his own success, or to his own failures. He's the only guy. And if you're not going to factor that in and you're not going to consider it, you and I are looking at something very different here. And I do think that it matters. I do think that you really keep your eye open for that. If Jordan Burroughs could see this career through the next games, for me, he becomes the GOAT. I think you guys are going to put more on him and say that he's got to win the gold medal. He's going to put more on himself. I don't see it that way. If Jordan Burroughs can have the level of success he has, not be deterred by victory and not be deterred by defeat, he will be the only guy who can ever have said that if he just sees the process through. I just want food for thought, but I want you to think about that. Now, great thing happened to him, known as Chance Marsteller. You want to talk, Chance Marsteller's a real winner. I mean, this guy has turned his life around, and it's been very public. He goes out to Oklahoma State, right? He's the blue chipper, 4-timer out of Pennsylvania. He washes out of Oklahoma State because he gets into partying, maybe even a street fight or two. Just misbehaved, knucklehead, 18 years old. Happens to plenty of guys, but most guys get to tour, they don't ever come back. He did. Buckled down, said, I don't want to be that guy, turned his life around. Yeah, he a couple of points away from making a world team. Really remarkable success. Everything that Chance has been through. And Chance greatly helped Jordan yesterday. Everybody needs a reminder that on any given day, at any given moment, if I am not absolutely engaged, every upset is told the same way. Chance really helped Team USA, and he really helped Jordan a lot yesterday within that match. And I have to give that same credit to Nolf. Kyle Dake, you never know how good Dake is, because any situation with anyone in the world, any way you want to do it, if he needs a point, he will go get the point. That's why you don't know how good Dake is. If he put himself in that same position 10 times in a match, is he tech falling everybody? Probably. Yeah, probably is. But if Kyle Dake ever goes down on criteria or by a point, his face changes, his body language changes, and within 11 seconds on average, he will have that point back. His very next effort, he will have that point. He can score on anybody anytime he needs to, but sometimes he only scores when he needs to. So it can be a little bit deceptive. And that's where I have to give Nolf a ton of credit. It was 11-0 the last time they wrestled. All of a sudden, you got an absolute dogfight for 12 minutes. And it was one of those openers where Dake has to, okay, it doesn't matter what I've done with this guy in the past. This is a new match, and I got to be ready in every single situation. It was very helpful. Now, if anybody should really be looked at, it's Zillmer. And I was half pissed last night. I formed a tweet, and I did everything but press send. I was so upset with wrestling media. I had screenshotted what they did, and I circled it, and I'm going to send it out to the world. I didn't do it. Wrestling committee's too small. I don't want to get enemies out. But I was pissed. Zillmer goes out, he makes a world team over a 2-time medalist, which nobody gave him any credit to do. And when they write the article, of course, he's heavyweight, so they cover him last. So he's the absolute last article. They called him Zillmer 3 times. Zillmer takes out Nick Gwiazdowski. Zillmer comes from behind. Zillmer, they don't even say his first name. I couldn't believe it. His first ever world team. The biggest upset of the entire event, the only upset of the entire, they don't even say the guy's first name. Our own media just called him Zilmer. Couldn't even give him the due to say Hayden Zilmer. Couldn't find it within the good of their heart to put over North Dakota State University where he went, to bring his coach or his teammate to it. They put his last name and just wrapped it and sent it off to the press. It's wrestling, right? It's just wrestling. But it was incredible. It's incredible the way they did it. I think if you go over and look at the Greco team, you look at what Hancock did. You know, Hancock didn't just get a jump on a younger guy. Hancock's a young guy. You guys forget that because he made so many teams. Hancock finished junior world champion. It's very relevant. Kamal Bey coming back after the suspension, working everything through, being tested, back to the team. There was some incredible wrestling. If I was to go back over the entire series, I think that Gross Fix was as good of wrestling as Cross versus Brands. And I don't think I'm going to get you guys to agree with me. I understand the stakes were very different. But as far as the actual wrestling, nonstop skill and talent, heart and dedication that was on display, Gross and Fix is as good at wrestling as I think that you're going to come across. You go look at Yanni, you look at what Evan did. The fact that Yanni and Evan put up 19 points between them, and 145.5 pounds is the hardest weight in wrestling. It is every single year. There's never a time where that's not true. There's never a time where that's not the most competitive class. So for Yanni to go out and do that, be surprised by a former training partner who got one hell of a lot better. Yanni needs to win the match. He does it with 1 second left. These are what champions do. What dreams are made of. I mean, Team USA is in such an absolute dynamic spot. And you got to pass that over to David Taylor as well. David Taylor gets a little bit surprised. Zahid's got nothing to lose. He's coming after him. Zahid will fade late if you put the right pressure on him. And David Taylor will score late if you show any signs of cracking. That's what he had to do. Ran him down, found a way, stopped the duck gunner. Both those guys did a great job. I think I might have been most impressed with Mark Hall. Of the entire thing, I might have been most impressed with Mark Hall. This is a multiple-time world champion who's spending a lot of time in the wrestlebacks. And he's not there because his wrestling's not on point. He's stuck in weight classes. That won't be true in X amount of time. Possibly by the Olympic trials. But it's one of those spots where he's growing into it. It slowed him down a little bit. He's put on the muscle. He can slow these guys down now. He can match it with the power, but now his speed and his time and his own balance. It's one of these things where he's finding himself and he's not complaining. He's staying very humble as he does it. And nobody caught my attention like Starocci. Carter Starocci. Am I saying Starocci right? Penn State kid. But there's nobody in wrestling that's interesting aside from AJ Ferrari. There's just nobody that's interested. They don't even try to be. I caught an interview by Starocci today. I mean, he cut a promo. He was cursing, which is very unlike a collegiate athlete. It is unlike any Penn State athlete. He got my attention, but he's pissed off, and he meant it all. He called Jordan Burroughs' wrestling average. Then he cut a promo on Vincent Joseph for not stepping on the mat with him, which in all fairness, Starocci is right. I have a tremendous problem. If you are a college coach, which is an extremely sought-after position, and you do not see a tournament through to the bitter end, no matter how you feel, I have a problem with that. And I don't buy it. I don't think any of you buy it. I don't think we were ever given an excuse as to why Joseph didn't get on the mat, but he didn't get on the mat, and I think it's because he had a younger guy who used to be his teammate, and the pressures were too much. I could be right, I could be right. It really doesn't matter. This is the appearance. Guy's a stud. Nobody's taken an opportunity from him. He's at the event. He knew about the date. Come on. Should have done the match. And Starocci was pissed off that he didn't. Starocci's right, and he got my attention for it.